So, Dior have released another oud-based fragrance into their Maison Christian Dior line of fragrances. This is their upper-end line, exclusive line of fragrances. The fragrance that came out this year in 2020 is called Oud Rosewood, and that's the one I'll be talking about today. So stay tuned to hear my thoughts on this fragrance. Hey, how's it going guys? Raj here. I hope all of you out there are good. I've got a review for you of Dior's Oud Rosewood. I've been working off this, I think it's like 5 ml, a pretty good sized decant, and I've worn it pretty much all the way down to the final spray. I've really enjoyed this fragrance. I've got to say, I'll say it straight from the start. I did a first impressions or like an initial impressions video a few months ago where I also talked about Guerlain's Patchouli Ardente, so maybe I'll leave a link in the description or somewhere in this video if you want to check it out. But yeah, let's crack on with the review. So Oud Rosewood was released this year. Perfumer, of course, the in-house perfumer for Dior, Francois de Machy. This joins a now growing line of oud-based fragrances from Dior. There is Purple Oud, Oud Isfahan, Leather Oud, which is, I believe, actually a Paris boutique exclusive. So I think that's the only place you can get it. And yeah, when I first heard about this, I thought, well, it's another oud. Is it completely necessary? I guess the oud trend doesn't show any signs of slowing down anytime soon, but it's Dior. Most of the time they come out with some pretty good quality fragrances, and I was impressed with this one. So in terms of the note breakdown for this one, some of the notes are mentioned on the Dior website. They say that the top notes are as tangy as, is it quince or quince, a jam? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce. I believe it's a fruit. I don't have much experience with it. If you guys have, let me know your thoughts. And they say the top notes are as tangy as raspberry. I'm going to take it that those are the top notes of this fragrance. There's also rosewood and oudwood, sandalwood, and they talk about this like animal-like notes and strength of this fragrance, which I do believe is the case in the opening, actually, to be honest. But actually, to be honest, as the fragrance develops, it becomes really smooth, and I find it to be on the sweeter side from a woody floral accord. I don't find this one to be animalic from start to finish, just in the opening, maybe half an hour or so. So in terms of performance, great performer, all-day performance. I feel like this one just emanates off the skin. You know, you really could be just sitting still, or this is my experience, like sat down. I had sprayed this one on my wrist, and the fragrance just wafts up towards you, which I really like. Obviously nowadays, not really mixing with too many people, so I don't really know what the sillage of this fragrance is, the scent trail. You know, typically that's something that other people will mention, like, oh, I can smell you from this distance, or, you know, you left the room and I could still smell you. That's generally the scent trail, the sillage. I have a feeling that this has a great scent trail. I think it's one of those fragrances that is quite not overpowering in the way that it's going to leave its impression on other people. But you know what, depending on your skin, also depending on how much you spray, this could also be quite a powerful fragrance. So I sprayed it on in moderation, and I felt like that was the best way to apply it. So in seasons, well, I've been wearing this over the last few months. I did wear this in fairly warm weather and also in colder weather. I think it performs great in those scenarios. It feels like, to me, a more exotic fragrance. So what exotic means to everyone, depending on where you are in the world, can mean different things. But for me, it just felt like a special occasion type fragrance. That's just the thought I had when thinking about when's the ideal time to wear this. But I could also see this as somebody wearing this, you know, who works in like the creative industry, wearing this on a day-to-day basis. That's kind of the images that come into my mind. Of course, you do what you want, wear it whenever you want to, but I do believe that you have like the ideal time to wear a fragrance. So in terms of what this one smells like, I've got the dry down on my hand. I've also done a fresh spray just to bring it back into my mind. And the opening is actually where the intensity of this fragrance is to be found. The darker, smokier, woody elements, very earthy, quite spicy in the opening is actually all there. It's actually quite a lot in the opening, and I think maybe some people might find this one overwhelming, depending on what type of fragrances you're used to. It does calm down a lot, quite a lot actually, after the opening. Half an hour to an hour. You don't have to hang around too much for too long. That opening is really, you can feel like a very damp, woody scent. It's slightly animalic in terms of a musky animal skin maybe kind of tone, or accord, but not really overwhelming. It's not too funky, it's not like kind of gross in that sense, but there is a little bit of skank in there, which I actually quite like. I like this fragrance because it is smooth, refined, elegant, classy, but it's got that bite, it's got that slightly rough edge, mainly in the opening hour actually. I pick up on saffron, I pick up on rose. Rosewood is, I don't really know whether it's genuine rosewood that is used in sort of modern perfumery, but it gives you this idea of sweet floral woods. That's basically the best way I could describe it. I'm thinking also of rose syrup. I'm thinking of very fruity jam. I'm also thinking of like I'm getting like a fruity shampoo kind of vibe as well, which might be off-putting to some people, but actually I quite like it. As the fragrance dries down, what you pretty much get for the majority of the fragrance is a sweet floral. I'm thinking rose. It could be a combination of all different kinds of things. I'm thinking sweet, milky, I'm thinking of sweet, milky sandalwood. And I also think it has a touch of spice. I think that saffron, maybe a bit of cardamom, cumin, you know, that combination is there. It's not listed on the note breakdown, but I was getting that saffron and cardamom and maybe a touch of cumin, I don't know, but yeah, those types of spices were coming to my mind into the dry down. It's like a nice thin veil on top of your skin, very almost reserved actually in some ways. The dry down, which doesn't really take that long to get into the dry down, you're not waiting for hours. Really, after about a couple of hours you're really into it, and it's quite measured. It's nothing too loud and abrasive. Really nicely put together. Very nice delicate balance between the sweet woods, sweet florals, a hint of that spice, a little bit of that muskiness is in there. And yeah, as I said, it's a nice thin veil, a thin blanket that just surrounds you, and it really just envelops you actually within your little bubble. And I really like the way that it transitions from the opening, and it gives you that rawness. But I'm not that type. I'm not a type of person who wants that strong animalic fragrance. I do like a little bit of it, but I love how this one settles and becomes really classy right up until the end of this fragrance. And as I said, it lasts a really long time. So overall, I don't really have anything negative to say. If I was to be nitpicking and maybe uber critical, I would say that after the opening, it becomes maybe a little bit too flat. And maybe some of you out there who have tried this fragrance might think the same way. You know, you want it to be a little bit more full-bodied, but I'm cool with the way that it is. And I'm going to give this fragrance a rating of 9 out of 10. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Drop a comment down below. If you'd like to contribute to what I do and also make a donation to Cancer Research UK, follow the link down below to the Buy Me a Coffee page. That would be much appreciated. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye.